Samantha C. This is elaborating on the metabolic processes that I decided to just tweet at you guys because it all started with a question: why was I not sick when everybody else in my house was sick? I didn't really understand why. I mean, there's no reason. It was a very contagious bug. I just didn't get sick, and I was like, why? Why did I not get sick, but everyone else did? And that actually started the quest of why. The quest of why. So what I ended up doing is also be aware of the fact that I was originally studying to become a genetic engineer. I'm familiar with cell and molecular biology. I used to actually think natural pathing and clean eating was all just hocus bogus because it's just like it's just about getting your calories and it's just simple math. Balance your calories, balance your exercise, and you'll burn it on and off. But ended up going through a slight cycle of depression, and I wasn't sure why because everything in my life was going very well, and I couldn't understand why. Um, but in this depression, the nice thing about being depressed is that you can go introverted and study for a really long time. But that's besides the point. But I ended up spending about 3 days going over Vedic medicines, different Chinese medicines, different herbal remedies to find different compounds that were actually inhibitors or prohibitors in different metabolic pathways. So you have things like turmeric, leucine, even copper, iron, vitamin D, B12. I have the list written down somewhere because I ended up writing in a complete comprehensive list of all the different metabolic pathways that GMOs in different foods don't have that you'd normally find in like herbs and stuff. And I just started eating all of those, and I noticed my mood improved. So, even though, because the thing is, it's too hard to be eating clean all the time. I'm a lazy bastard. So, I was like, okay, let's use the scientific method. Let's figure out what the hell's going on with clean eating and take it out. Now, there's a couple of different things here. The one thing that's kind of cool is there's this thing called telomerase, and then there's different ways of actually configuring how your telomere expression is, and this actually influences how long your cells commit until they do apoptosis. So, what I ended up doing was coming up with a different regimen of pills with like turmeric, B12, taking excessive amounts of vitamin C because it's like the one antioxidant that you can just like pump your system full of, and there's no ill effects. So it just kind of supercharges your immune system, and if there's any free radicals in your like that you're taking in, it should helpfully oxidize those and bind them so they can't like interrupt your cells. So from there, you just go into the different, like there's the P13K metabolic pathway, and it's all about finding different prohibitors and inhibitors. Now, this is the thing I ended up finding out is that there's actually different genetic mutations I was reading about, and there's actually mutations people have where different parts of those pathways are actually firing on all cylinders for certain people, and some people they're not. I happen to be a person that if I go out in the sun for more than 2 hours, I will be covered in blisters. And that actually has to do with I think it's a P13K mutation that causes excessive oxidation of things, which also results in my skin burning. But it also means that I'm able to make vitamin D out of nowhere. I never ever have to worry about a vitamin D deficiency. It's kind of cool. But So it's just the nature of knowing your genetics, knowing your the different pathways. Like leucine helps you catabolize and make lets your muscles grow easier because leucine is like a kind of a rare little amino acid that you don't necessarily absorb. But if your body has plenty of it, you can absorb as much muscle mass as possible. I mean, I went ahead and configured it out now, and it's like I have no problem benching 435 pounds, squatting 600. I don't even work out that much, but it's just about like configuring and treating your body like a machine so your pathways are working right. Well, I mean, I don't really have any scientific evidence. I've seen observations, different papers, read all these things, and it's like that's the conclusion I came up to. There's probably more to it, but I have to find out more. And like your omega threes, I mean, a lot of the just that good old keeping your vitamins up. Now there's some obscure ones. Like I know red sage. I'll try to find that list for you that I compiled of all the different things and the different pathways to. Sometimes it actually affects how the way you mentally think. It actually explains nootropics too, because there is. It actually explains nootropics like the cognitive enhancing drugs, because there's certain people whose neurons actually like in different cultures their neurons fire on things in different ways, and if you go ahead and you introduce things to your system to make your weaker metabolic pathways go up higher, and then all of a sudden it's like you realize you start seeing things differently. um, it's just kind of cool. Like, I mean, it's just all personal observations of mindfulness, and you have to observe your mood at any point in time. But um, it's that's just kind of what I've seen. So just look up different metabolic pathways, inhibitors, prohibitors. Then also too dig in some of that old ancient medicine. There's a lot to it, and if you can map like the active compounds in it, and then you see where it actually helps with gene expression or different protein expressions, that's where the cool stuff really starts to happen. It's cool because it's like, hey, it's like all these people from like 3,000 years ago and through the ages just recorded the stuff through trial and error, and they passed it on because it freaking works. Like, and of course, if you use the scientific processes, you can. I mean, it's hard to escape GMOs, but if you know what chemicals to put in your body that are missing, that are in normally in our food, then you can make your body a well-oiled machine again. That's all I got for right now. I just kind of did this impromptu.